Hey, this is the top guy, Griffin McCoy, representing Young, Dumb, and Broke and Punk Star Posse, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, everything in between, every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code Wrestling with E for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, the host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts, who is losing his on-man match with time right now. Uh, but who is on time? The American Scooter Dust.
My uncle's dying wish was to have me sitting on his lap. He was in the electric chair.
And it's a great day for wrestling. Last week on the show, we interviewed Griffin McCoy, the Bougie boy, top guy. That was a fun one. We haven't gone that long with a guest for quite some time, and uh, the top guy is already showing that he's the top guy. One of our most viewed interviews in quite some time.
And absolutely, a great interview. And I'm looking to see if he'd maybe be willing to part with some of that delicious homebrewed beer he was talking about.
Hmm. He
Maybe work out a trade. Some of my homebrewed stuff for some of his homebrewed stuff.
That sounds like a fair trade to me. And we got a lot of great things coming up in September. Our first interview, September 1st, the daughter of a thousand maniacs, Shauna Reed. Um, the aide, Kiefer Bartek, the sheriff, um, promoter of New Texas Wrestling. The 15th, Miss Hannah. And then after that, we got Lady Lori. And we might have one more coming up, so stay tuned for that as well.
These are tentative. These are interview dates. Please check the wrestling with the social medias on YouTube and Castbox to check out when the interviews get posted.
Absolutely. And now that we're done putting ourselves over, it's time for one small piece of news that came out last week. Um, I think it's the only thing that we need to talk about, considering everything that happened this week in wrestling, and that is CM Punk returning to wrestling, to AEW, All Elite on Rampage, last Friday. Scooter, your thoughts?
Oh my God, this was. Oh man, I don't know if there's words to describe it. It was it was goosebump inducing. It was it was worth tears. People ribbed on the fans that were seen on camera crying. You know, I don't blame them for crying. They have been waiting for so long to have their hero back in the ring, and they finally do. It like I went back and watched just the entrance alone at least 40 times.
It
I
was
mean, it's just people. It's a moment that will go down in wrestling history and never be forgotten.
and if merchandise sales, YouTube views and ratings matter any, he definitely raised AEW's value. But do you feel like this was a legitimate shot at WWE that, we're not just the underdogs, we can be competition for you?
Uh, well, given everything that's happened and the recent news that has come out of WWE offices, um, it seems more and more like Vince is in denial.
Also,
He claims AEW is not competition, but they're gonna be. They are going to be the competition. They just need to be confident enough to take the fight to Monday nights.
Monday Night Dynamite?
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does. But, I love CM Punk. And, I'm happy to see him there. But, you know, the massive company that WWE is right now, it doesn't seem like anybody would really be competition for them. You know, ratings really don't matter nowadays because, you know, people don't intake their content on a TV anymore. It's usually on a laptop screen now.
Yeah.
So it would be, I mean, the only way you could really, evaluate a company now is who's making more money, who's selling more tickets, and I don't think AEW is going to make more money than WWE at this stage, or maybe 5 years down the line. But the way that I saw it, I was thinking about how WWE has countered this was to stop hiring independent talent.
And
Which,
that was the news I was referring to.
yeah, because now they're not going for the same people AEW is going for. And AEW has less incentive to scoop up somebody that WWE wants, or kind of negotiate back the talent negotiating between WWE and AEW, which I guess is a strategy. But do you think that WWE even considers CM Punk coming there a shot fired?
I think that's both a yes and no answer. I think it's yes because it's friggin' CM Punk who, let's face it, fans listen to him.
Yes.
They listen to every word that comes out of his mouth. And anything he says about the WWE, fans will believe regardless of whether it's true or not. It's also no, because assumedly Vince believes Punk, it wasn't necessary to try and essentially outbid AEW for Punk, but this was not, most likely this really wasn't a matter of money.
No.
Um,
Well, I mean, Punk didn't necessarily say how much he was making.
and I don't think we're going to learn. Um, but again, there's just so much to break down and analyze about this.
Well, one of the things that we could break down right now briefly is CM Punk is wrestling Darby Allin in his first match in 8 years at All Out. Me and Kaliko was talking earlier this week about it, and we were like, they're really, jobbing Darby out, right?
Ah, hmm. Well, considering that the only thing Punk was told to mention at all before he went out there was his match with Darby Allin. Everything else was him off the cuff. And I believe I mentioned this a week or so, a number of weeks back, that they're probably looking into CM Punk Sting.
You did.
And also, given everything that's been going on, I think I think it's a I think Darby is turning heel, but um
Well, he's not going into that match
it,
against Punk, a babyface.
yeah, that's true. It's a again, it's a very strange situation to analyze.
For sure. And we'll try and analyze it a little bit more next week. Until then, we are wrestling with NXT Takeover 36. It was last Sunday, and it came after SummerSlam this year. We're going to be talking about SummerSlam a little later. How did you feel watching NXT the night after SummerSlam rather than the night before?
It was surreal. I still don't know why they decided to do SummerSlam on a Saturday. I'm assuming most likely because scheduling issues, I guess. But I would say that the better show did air on Sunday.
Well, let's get into it. $1 Million Championship, Cameron Grimes with Ted DiBiase defeated LA Knight to win the $1 Million Championship in 16 minutes and 32 seconds. Nice little ending to this story arc, Scooter.
Oh, yes, absolutely, especially given what went down on NXT this past Tuesday. I do have to say, Cameron Grimes was not looking like his usual self. He did seem like he was off a step or two.
Hmm. I couldn't really say, but
I mean, he looked like he was gassed really early. Um, there were a couple of botches throughout, but it was just something off to me about Cameron's performance here.
well, maybe it was just a night off for him, an off night. So we will see. But we're done with the whole $1 Million Legacy thing. You see Cameron Grimes going for uh an actual title in NXT, the North American, the main one, or do you see him just being what he has been, which is a staple of the brand?
Hmm. Given everything going on, I I expect Grimes to at least have at least one win with the North American title.
Alright. NXT Women's Championship match. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Dakota Kai in 12 minutes and 27 seconds. Um, yeah, I don't think
Uh,
people expected anything else from Dakota.
Especially in a situation like that where the really giant person is the face and the really tiny person is the heel. Uh, most of the time that's a squash situation. Um, but I will say, you know, Raquel did, prior to this match, did seem like she was improving. And then this match, it seemed like it was one of the first times Raquel was wrestling. And I think only thanks to Dakota did this, did they make it through at all.
Oh yeah, Dakota in ring really underrated. After the match, Kaylee Ray came out, and it seems like she's our next challenger for the championship. I'm excited to see Kaylee Ray and what she could do on a show that people are actually going to see her on. No, Scooter?
Yes, I'm very excited to see what Kaylee Ray brings to the NXT Women's Division stateside.
NXT UK Championship match. Ilya Dragunov defeated Walter to win the championship in 22 minutes and 3 seconds.
Uh,
Best match of the night.
um, uh, Best match of the year. You can't tell me that was 22 minutes. That seemed like a lifetime.
It was 22 minutes.
Oh my God. This was this match defines what it means to be a fan of professional wrestling.
Oh yeah, this was everything it needed to be and more. You know, I don't think people give Walter enough credit, but he's a big bastard. That if he don't want to do anything, you're not gonna make him. And this guy sell, sold his ass off for this Dragunov guy. And it was just an incredible display by both guys. Like, you really believe that Dragunov really hurt Walter. And it was just, I don't know, it was, if you haven't already seen it, go see it, for sure.
I mean, you had Walter begging off for the first time in his entire NXT career.
His first loss was by submission, essentially. He tapped.
And I don't think anybody expected, one, Walter to tap, and two, I don't think anybody expected Walter to lose.
Um, I kind of felt that it was coming on. I mean, they brought Dragunov all the way from England, so it's a matter of he ain't gonna fly all the way to America, quarantine for 2 weeks, and just to lose to Walter.
But this now makes the United Kingdom Championship. It has now changed hands more in America than the UK.
This is correct. And there's only been, out of 4 champions, only 2 of them were actually British. Walter's Austrian and Dragunov is Russian. Now, let's get to the next match, the Undisputed Final. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in 25 minutes and 32 seconds. This was a 3 stages of hell match. The first fall went to O'Reilly, the second Cole, and then the steel cage match went to O'Reilly. Good match, but I really felt like my I was already emotionally drained from the Dragunov Walter match, so I wasn't maybe as invested into this one. What about you, Scudo?
I was expecting Cole, and given the whole thing with Cole's contract situation, um, I was really expecting Cole to essentially lose the first fall on purpose and beat the crap out of O'Reilly with a weapon. Like the first time he did a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I believe was with Gargano.
Yes.
Yeah, that first fall ended unexpectedly, and then the third fall really ended on an unexpected note as well. I mean,
It did.
I mean,
I think it was just a timing thing.
There's an unwritten rule in booking that you at least try not to have 2 meaningful matches end the same way. So we see Cole submit in that third fall, and it's like, yeah, okay. It didn't have it didn't pack the wallop they wanted it to.
Yeah, and I I kind of blame, Dragunov and Walter because with no weapons whatsoever, they had a more brutal match than that they had with weapons.
Yeah.
But it is the last match in their storied rivalry for now. Um, Cole is there's still a possibility that Cole stays with the company. Um, on the next episode of Being the Elite, they're holding a seance, so we'll see which way that goes.
I what I've heard is uh, his contract was supposedly expiring yesterday, and now he is apparently, in fact, a free agent.
Well, we will see if what the future holds for Adam Cole, baby. And that brings us to our last match. NXT Championship match. Samoa Joseph versus Karrion Kross to win the NXT Championship in 12 minutes 19 seconds. Your thoughts, Scooter?
Well, I love seeing the Muscle Buster and Joe becoming the first ever 3-time NXT champion. I think at this point, I think Cross might be ruined.
How so?
Uh, well, first of all, they've had him on Raw, essentially most of the time jobbing out,
No, it's
which
not
is,
jumping. They're beating the NXT out of him.
and I don't know who thought it would have been a productive idea to have Karrion, as while still NXT champion, to come to Raw, lose his first match on Raw to Jeff Hardy, um, and still be looked at as a real threat in NXT. Um, and not to mention they separated Scarlett when he went to Raw, and here, yeah, Scarlett again nowhere to be found.
Which I think is a smart decision, which is just my opinion. You know, something that has become a theme in wrestling now is the Lana Rusev um thing, where the people care more about seeing Lana than Rusev, and that kind of became a problem with Cross and Scarlett. So before he got onto the main roster, not everybody watches NXT. They cut her. So he's solo. You don't have to worry about the girl overshadowing the guy in this sense.
You know that is a very good point. But at the same time, the fans who know that Karrion never was anywhere without Scarlett are thinking Scarlett is essentially the source of his power.
Very true. But they could work around that at some point. If they still have the, voodoo sorceress gimmick on Raw, which it doesn't seem like they're doing.
Well, considering that if Scarlett shows up, there's a feud with Alexa Bliss is inevitable, if you ask me.
Well, she hasn't even had a match yet in NXT.
That's true.
So maybe keep her down there, see what she could do, and then when the time is right, bump her up. And then when they do bump her up, you could have them reconnect. It doesn't seem like Cross and Scarlett are, attached to the hip. They're kind of their own individuals at that point. That might actually work.
Yeah, that actually might work.
But yeah, we got Samoa Joe, our new NXT champion, and I'm happy about that. I'm just happy to see Joe wrestling. I think it was a smart move to keep him on the brand.
Absolutely.
And that will conclude our coverage of. Well, actually, wait. The show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Scooter.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. That'll conclude our coverage of NXT Takeover 36. And we are wrestling with WWE SummerSlam. It was last Saturday. It was at Allegiant Stadium, which is the first time they've ever been in a football arena in America for SummerSlam. The show as a whole, what did you think, Scooter?
It was kind of hit or miss. It it was a night of surprises. It was a great night if your initials were BL.
Yeah.
But it this was like it was like a valley of highs and lows almost. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Alright, let's get into it. Riddle and Randy Orton defeated AJ Styles and Omos to win the Raw Tag Team Championships in 7 minutes and 6 seconds. Great opener. Maybe a little too short though. But
For what it was, it was a decent opener. The strategy of attacking Omos at every possible juncture was the right way to go without making Omos look like a punk. And more and more, I'm beginning to enjoy seeing the dynamic between Randy Orton and Riddle.
yes. And just so everybody knows, we have two very different perspectives of this show, Scooter. You watched it live on Peacock, and I was at the show myself, physically there. So we kind of have, different outlooks as to how it went. But people were very excited for Riddle and Randy Orton. And people was hungry for this match. So in that sense, it was good. That brings us to our next match. Alexa Bliss defeated Eva Marie with Dewdrop in 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Scooter, your dogs. So what was your thoughts, Drew?
I mean, if anybody expected Eva Marie to go over, you're nuts. This went down the way it was supposed to. No, I mean, there's really nothing else to, I think, really say, except that Dewdrop, I hate that freaking name,
She's keeping it
seems
though.
to be finally, yeah, seems to be finally out of the clutches of Eva Marie, it seems.
Yes.
Eva Marie, whatever you want to.
It progressed the storyline that did what it needed to do.
Yes.
Damian Priest defeated Sheamus to win the United States Championship in 13 minutes and 56 seconds. Priest even had a match against Bobby Lashley the night after Raw. Do you see Priest being a main event player for WWE? Are they testing those waters, or are they just kind of waiting and seeing?
I think they are. I think they are testing to see if Priest is a potential main eventer. I think Priest will get there. I don't think it will be so soon, but he will get there.
Alright. The Usos defeated Dominic and Rey Mysterio to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Don't think anybody thought anything else of that. Alright, let's get into it. Bianca Belair, women's SmackDown Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. The winner, Becky Lynch. Yeah. Bianca came out first, and they even played the video package for the whole rivalry. And then the announcer stated that Sasha Banks would not be able to compete. Carmella came out. The crowd was not happy about that. And then the man Becky Lynch came out. She beat up Carmella, challenged Bianca for the championship, and beat her in 25 seconds.
Well, where to begin? First and foremost, the WWE knew Sasha would not be cleared to compete at least 8 days before SummerSlam.
This is correct.
Okay, fans are pissed. Carmella comes out as the replacement. Fans are pissed even more because it's another Bianca Carmella match.
Yes. God knows we have too many of those.
And Becky shows up, complete surprise, because she was really not supposed to return just yet.
She was not.
Fans are ecstatic. The internet is exploding. And then then Becky wins in 25 seconds. Fans are pissed.
But that's only the people that were not at the show. when Becky, again, I was there. Becky came out, the roof came off the place. Becky, challenged for the championship, the roof came off the place. Becky slapped and slammed Bianca 1, 2, 3. Oh, that happened. Oh, Becky's champion. Yay again. It seemed like the only people that were really upset about it were the people watching on Peacock and the internet. Being
Yeah,
there, not a lot of people were really concerned about Bianca Belair.
and I would not. I honestly, I would not expect them to be, because this was really, it was a moment worth celebrating. Uh, but of course, the internet is crying out, "Oh, racism, blah blah blah," and y'all did it wrong.
And did they do Bianca Belair dirty? They
No,
stopped.
I do not think so. How do you expect Bianca to prepare for someone who she's literally never faced, has never had any uh, interaction with whatsoever?
Right, and they're billing, Lynch as the heel of this rivalry. So, it's kind of, you have to make the face fall before you make them rise again. Um, I think if Bianca won the match, people would absolutely have hated her. If the match went maybe 5, 8 minutes, people would have been happy. The internet would have been satisfied. Um, but she was champion got the championship at WrestleMania. She's been holding it down for SmackDown since that time. Um, but she does need people to wrestle. No, Scooter?
Yes, she absolutely does. And Bianca needs to be climbing to the top. The essential fundamental of wrestling is that faces should be chasing the belt.
Yeah. You think that this might actually help Bianca become a bigger star? And maybe, at SummerSlam, it was Becky Lynch and nobody else. Bianca was not that caliber of superstar. You think this rivalry with her can propel Belair to that stage?
I think this might be a case of being heel via proxy, because I don't know if they're going to be able to essentially make Becky into the heel they want.
It didn't work last time.
So I don't know if it will work this time.
Probably not. But what does that say for the star power of Becky Lynch and not Belair?
I don't think that's a call that can be made right now.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I think we have to wait and see how things progress to really determine the star power aspect of Bianca. And I'm saying right now, she already has it. The WWE has put so much faith in her to essentially represent them to the African American female community.
Let's let's get into the next match. Drew McIntyre defeated Jinder Mahal 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Cut and dry. Drew needed a win. Didn't win at Mania. I think it did the job. People were happy to see him.
They just needed Heath.
Maybe for Survivor Series. Triple threat match. Charlotte Flair defeated Nikki Ash via Ripley to win the Raw Women's Championship in 13 minutes and 4 seconds. Did the right goal win here, Scooter?
They make such a big deal of Nikki finally beating Charlotte cleanly, as cleanly can be in a street fight. Um, um, oh God, I'm not sure. I'm honestly I'm not sure.
You know, we just talked about Bianca. Oh, they blasted her. They jobbed her. But that's not necessarily the case. She's in a rivalry with Becky Lynch right now. And she is the face of the company. So Bianca can't be doing better, essentially. Nikki, if they blasted anybody, I feel like it's Nikki, because they were building the superhero gimmick and they were getting that over with little goals, and then they just kill it. And it doesn't seem like Cross is going to be in the title picture anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that. And that really does kind of suck.
It does. Next match, Edge defeated Seth Rollins in 21 minutes and 15 seconds. Second loudest pop of the night was definitely Edge. That Brood entrance was deeply appreciated. But what did you think, Sulu?
Yes, that entrance was straight fire.
Literally.
um, it was the match was exceptional, and I mean I don't know if there's actually any more you can really say about it.
You know, I feel like Seth Rollins doesn't get this credit. He's been putting great matches on every time he's been on a paid preview.
That is true.
And, you know, this was, I personally, match of the night. Uh, Great back and forward. Edge still got it. The crowd, the crowd gave him um, a Jericho welcome, singing the song. And it was just a phenomenal atmosphere to be in. Next match, WWE Championship match, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, ended via referee stoppage in 7 minutes and 12 seconds. You have anything to say about this match, Guido?
Uh, I don't know if this was the right decision or just neither man wanted to job cleanly. I do have to say, I think MVP was probably the saving grace. Um, you know, Goldberg needs to friggin' wake up when he gets whacked in the knee. But the fact that MVP is like, dude, he's a minor, like, and he's immediately like defending Lash, like, oh, he couldn't have known. So that's basically all I think all there is to say about this.
Yeah, if I popped for anything in that match, it was MVP. As well, he didn't know that was his kid. How would he know? He's absolved of everything. Next match, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman defeated John Cena to retain the Universal Championship in 22 minutes and 59 seconds. This felt like a proper big main event feel to me, anyway.
Yes, it was a real main event feel to me as well. There were times where I really was wondering, are they gonna go through with it? But sadly, well, I don't know if sadly is the right thing to say. But 33 minutes before it happened, I was interacting on Twitter. I was being all sarcastic. I'm like, just watch. Lesnar comes out, F5's Roman to help Cena win. Well, didn't exactly happen like that, but
And yeah, that was after the match. Brock Lesnar came out, face down Roman, and the head of the table backed down. I don't believe Roman ever has had a victory over Lesnar. He's the only um beast he hasn't slayed at this point. And I think that's a really interesting storyline going forward. No, Scooter?
yes, yes, absolutely.
Do you think that Roman will continue this dominant run that he's been going on, or do you think that Brock is well, Brock is Brock, so you think he's gonna get that belt?
Uh, I honestly, who's to say at this point? But Brock is going to be the babyface here.
Yes.
Let's hope it works.
We will see. And that will conclude our coverage of WWE SummerSlam. Join us next week as we talk about, I think All Out is going to be next week, so we'll talk about all that. Talking all that of All Out because we're all in. Until then, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this episode was sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. Join us this Wednesday as we interview Shauna Reed. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling with E for all your wrestling entertainment needs. You can find us individually as well on Twitter. I am at JamesJ993. You can find Kaliko at I am Kaliko. And where can they find Scooter?
You can find me on Twitter at Scooter Dust, and of course, you can find me along with Rico Costantino Jr. as part of the Smoking Dragons, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons. The remix is on temporary hiatus, most likely relaunching next month under a brand new network. So keep an ear open for that.
For Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.